Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Tuesday, December 14th. I'm Gary Stevens. It is the second Tuesday of the month, which means we are getting an update from the Holland Museum, and handling the responsibilities today for us is Katie Baker, the Development and Communications Associate Director of the museum. She joins us via the Zoom connection this morning. Katie, good morning. Welcome back to Talk of the Town.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We are well. Hopefully everyone at the museum is well. And if you have a question about what's going on at the museum, Katie's a good person to ask at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. Since last we chatted and last we had the museum on, there was some festive Christmas time events going on at the museum. Hopefully all went well.
Absolutely. We had such a fun weekend, and I know that it's over, but I really hope that everyone will think about us for next year. It was so fun. I brought my son, who is almost 6, and he just had a blast. We hosted an event at the Capon House called the Victorian Christmas at the Capon House in the morning, and it was a beautiful setting. I'm sure you've been to the Capon House, Gary. It's gorgeous inside, and it's wonderful decorated for Christmas. And then we hosted Holidays Around the World, which was a really exciting afternoon where we got to partner with other local organizations and celebrate traditions that you might not be necessarily familiar with. Just for an example, my son now thinks that we should celebrate Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. So those are his 2 favorite holidays that he got to learn about this weekend. But we also celebrated with LAUP and IM Academy and a lot of wonderful organizations that are located in West Michigan.
I would, maybe I'm being presumptuous, Katie, but events such as what happened with the holiday season, sometimes it's a good door opener for people to become involved with the museum that maybe hadn't been at the museum before, or hadn't been at the museum for a number of years, sort of reintroduce them. It may be a little too early to ask if maybe you got some new members, but certainly it was a good forward step in that regard.
Absolutely. It's a great way to come to the museum, experience one of our days. This particular event was included with admission, so you just paid your regular admission. But if you were a member, you would have gotten in for free, and as part of your membership. And it just was a really fun activity. You got a passport, and you went around and got stickers from everybody to put in your passport. And the kids' activities. Spark Lab was open. And the wind tunnel is back. I don't know. Gary, you've got to come over and hang out with me in Spark Lab, because the wind tunnel is really fun. The goal of it is you have to create something that hovers within a wind tunnel, this plastic wind tunnel. Sometimes the object is too heavy and it flies out. Sometimes it's too light, or that it's too heavy and it won't fly at all. And if it's too light, it just flies right out the top, and everybody giggles, and it's so much fun. And that is a favorite activity for my son. And it's so fun. We've had Spark Lab since August of 2018. And since we opened, he's grown a lot in age. And so, at first it was, let's put a feather in there and see what happens. And now he, at almost 6, is really understanding that you can, things are what you have to do, and the process of invention, and understanding that. And that's what makes Spark Lab so fun.
Of course.
Experience that.
Of course, there'll be some who say, hey, wait a minute, why do we have to go to Spark Lab to get a wind tunnel? We had one this past Saturday. We got another one coming up on Wednesday, Thursday. But at least in the Spark Lab, it's under a controlled situation. We don't have to worry about downed power lines as well. But let's look forward. And if you have a question again for Katie Baker of the Holland Museum, 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. We do have another session with the museum scheduled before The La Oupe story exhibit ends on January 17th. So while it technically is not last call, the crier is already loosening up the throat for that particular call there.
Well, it's a great way to come and spend the holidays with your family. Everyone's in town, and we have it's a great way to learn about Holland's history, a great organization in Holland. And this is the last month for the exhibit. So we're open 3 days a week, Monday, Friday, and Saturday. Obviously, we'll be closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but there's still opportunities to come over the holiday break to come and see us and experience that story and learn about a great organization that serves the Latino population in Holland.
I know that obviously with your responsibilities as the Development and Communications Associate Director, Katie Baker, that sometimes you're busy doing what you need to do with your work. But when visitors come and take a look at the La Oupe story exhibit, what are some of the remarks? I believe there's like a book or something that people can write down remarks. What's been some of the reaction to some of those who have seen this exhibit?
We've heard a lot of fun stories about family members that have come in to see the exhibit. We have a stack of sticky notes so that if some of our photos were unidentified, so if people recognize somebody in the exhibit, they could write a little sticky note on it and put it up on the photo so that we could help identify. A lot of these images will become part of our collection if they're not already. We are working with La Oupe to help curate their history as well. So it's a great opportunity to maybe identify some of your family members or friends that you might know, but just really a fun celebration of an organization that is rooted in Holland and really makes a difference in the community.
All right. Besides the standing exhibit, which runs through the 17th of January, the La Oupe story, United for Progress. Actually, it's the other way around. United for Progress, the La Oupe story. There are a couple of special events coming up early in 2022 surrounding Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Tell us a little bit about these two events.
So Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a free day at the museum. It is the last day of the exhibit. So it's a good event to mark on your calendar. Make sure if your kids have the day off of school that you take it off work and come and join us. It's our annual celebration. I think this will be the 4th year that we've had this celebration. We will have crafts and Spark Lab, and we'll have the reciting of I Have a Dream speech read from students from a local school, plus story times throughout the day, a gallery scavenger hunt. So you get a sheet of paper and you can run around the gallery and try and find answers to that. And also activities to take home. So there will be an opportunity to continue learning at home after you have left that special time.
That's coming up on the 17th, which is the actual observed holiday for Martin Luther King Jr. 3 days later, The Legend of the Black Dutchman. Tell us about this upcoming exhibit.
Doesn't that sound fun? It's going to be a Zoom presentation. This is part of our series called Tales from the Archives. And the idea is that it started, people come to the museum. Gary, I don't know if you know this, but people come to the museum and they do research in our collections. They might be looking for a story about their family, or they might be doing a project for school or something that they just needed a little bit more research on. And this is an opportunity that we are excited to be able to provide to the community. For more information on that, there is information on our website. We do ask that you don't just show up to the museum. You have to make an appointment and things like that. But this is one of those stories. Tales from the Archive was a program that our education director started so that we could help tell the stories of people that are doing that research and coming to the museum to do that. This is a historian and Hope College graduate. His name is Professor Michael Duma, who will tell the legend of a formerly enslaved child who was brought to Holland, Michigan, and lived with a Dutch immigrant family after the Civil War. So it'll be a really fascinating story that was written by a Hope College graduate and a historian. He does not live in Holland, so it is a Zoom presentation. We ask people that they sign up on our website, and you can sign up to Eventbrite via Eventbrite, and then we'll email you out that Zoom link so that you won't miss the program.
And that, of course, is on January the 20th. If you have a question for Katie Baker, 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. She is with the Holland Museum. Can you clarify something for me, Katie? Because this program that's coming up, which is the Legend of the Black Dutchman, it's by a Hope College graduate. And you mentioned about the fact Tales from the Archives. It leads a question in my mind, and you can clarify or basically put me back on the right track. The Holland Museum has correct me if I'm wrong, a relationship with Hope College with a joint archives as well in that regard, or am I barking up the wrong tree on this?
We have a great working relationship with the Joint Archives. We don't have any professional relationship with them. I believe that there was back in history an actual relationship, but we right now just have a great working relationship with the Joint Archives. We are happy to share stories and resources and things like that. So,
all right, that leads me to my next question, Katie Baker, and I don't want you to. Maybe I do want you to spill the beans to a certain extent. It's the end of the year. We're coming up from 2021 into 2022. What can we look forward to from the museum over the next 12 months or so?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, we've got some really great fundraisers coming up. Fundraisers are a fun opportunity for people to engage with the museum in a unique way. We have great programs, family programs, adult programs. We're going to continue our program series called Cultural Lens, which has been an opportunity for us to highlight different communities, different people within our community. And we also have a great exhibit coming up. It'll open at the beginning of February, photography of contemporary Native Americans by James Cook. That's going to be really exciting. And I know we're starting some new programs, like there's going to be an Earth Day program. And then later in the year, we'll do Halloween programs and then our Christmas programs again. So we're looking forward to 2022. Everybody's working hard.
You mentioned about an upcoming exhibit involving contemporary photos of Native Americans. How extensive is the museum have? How much of an extent does the museum have in terms of maybe capturing some of the history of this area before Dr. Van Raalte and maybe some of the heritage of this area by the Native Americans?
So I think it's important to note that museums on a whole only have in their collection what people have donated to them. We have made an effort, I think, in recent history to reach out and try to identify what we're lacking in our collection and help fill those gaps to help tell a full, robust history of the Holland community. But it is something that we as an organization and all museums work toward. So I don't think that our history on individuals that lived here prior to Van Raalte is a robust history. It is something I know that our collections department, the collections committee, exhibits team is all working on because it's important to help tell the full story of the community. But it's not as robust as we'd like at this point.
Yeah, I can understand to a certain extent that, yeah, I think our archaeological friends need to do some work in that regard to help us out on that as well. Good morning. You're on the line with Katie.
Good morning. She was talking about the Indians that were here when the Dutch immigrants come to settle this area. Now, I don't know if she knew that Heinz plant is built on an original Indian burial ground, and also that the the Ottawa Indians that lived here, they had a Catholic priest that lived with them. And after the Dutch were here for a while, they could not get along with the Dutch, and they ended up moving to the Mount Pleasant area with the rest of some other Ottawa Indians. So, and about the Dutch, you know, in the Civil War, she was talking a little bit about that. That I guess Ben Ralties had a couple of his sons fought in the Civil War for the North, of course, and they were in a special unit that was made up with German and Dutch immigrants because hardly any of them talked English very well. So they had officers which were could speak English and Dutch or German. So
All right.
just information for us.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. Well, that's how you get some things at the museum, Katie. People either by verbal or an actual substance, they hand things over.
Absolutely. And we have made a connection with the Native American tribe that now lives in Mount Pleasant. We've been working, we had a family program a year ago with the, I'm not going to say it correctly, Gary, it's Anishinaabe tribe that is
That's
now
close.
that lives in the Mount Pleasant area. And I know that we have another program coming up with them this spring that we're working on. So it is important that we continue to make that connection. So your caller is absolutely correct.
Now, talking about fundraising, Museum on Tap is coming up over on January 28th. I still see some openings available for that, isn't there?
Absolutely. Do you like beer, Gary?
I don't mind. I don't mind every once in a while. I'm not a big aficionado, though.
How about
I used
cider?
to be, but not anymore. A little bit less,
No?
but that's okay.
Wine? Wine? I got wine too.
But again, you got a big fundraiser coming up.
Absolutely. So this is our second fundraiser. We did this event in January of 2020, about 6 weeks before everything shut down. So we weren't able to hold it in 2021, but we are so excited to host it this January. It's a fun event to have after the holidays. It's about a month after the holidays, so you have time to recover. And you're looking maybe for something to do before the winter blues set in. So this is an event full of beer, cider, wine, and then we have tasting. It's a tasting event, and then we're going to have some great food. The Knot Spot is going to join us for some yummy pretzels, and we'll have a silent auction, so you can get some goodies, some tickets to local events. Some yummy restaurants, and then we're the beer, cider, and wine is going to be the real exciting part. We have Bell's Brewery coming. We have Grand Armory, Pigeon Hill Brewing, Saugatuck Brewing, St. Julian's Winery, Three Blondes Brewing, which is in South Haven, and Tanglewood Winery right now on the docket. So we are exciting. Your tickets you get 6 tastings with your tickets, and there is a member discount. So if you're a member, you can sign up. Tickets are $30 for members or $40 for general admission, $50 at the door. And then if you maybe are not a big drinker and you still want to come because you like silent auctions and a good exhibit on the history of brewing, then we have a designated driver ticket for $10, which does include some soda. So it's a fun, well-rounded event. I'm so excited to have it again. It was a great fun. My husband likes to sell the 50-50 raffle tickets. So he's the really tall guy when you come to the event that will be selling these 50-50 raffle tickets. And he's a pretty boisterous guy. So he's excited to sell that again and give an opportunity for people to win some money.
My dad used to be pretty good about hitting up his friends saying, give me a 20. Why? Right. Give me a 20. They give him a 20. Say, okay, here's your tickets.
Exactly. And then you get to drink beer and you get to drink wine and maybe try some places that you haven't tried before. If you are new to town, or maybe some of these places are not as local, which is I think fun. Maybe you've seen their stuff in the grocery store and you want to know what it tastes like before you buy it. We're going to have an opportunity for you to try it there.
One final thing, Katie Baker, if somebody wants to be involved with the library as a member, how do they get about it? And there are some levels of memberships involved as well.
Absolutely. So our basic membership to the museum includes is $35, and it includes your admission and a guest. So we want you to feel like you can bring somebody with you at any time. Our family membership includes 2 adults and all children or grandchildren under 17. And our premium membership, which includes 4 adults admissions and all children under 17, also includes a reciprocal membership program to the North American Reciprocal Museum Program, NARM for short, instead of you don't want to say that big mouthful. And that is really fun if you travel outside of this West Michigan area. Maybe you go to Florida for the winter. Maybe you go to Texas or California. If you want to go out of the country, there's a whole list on their website, North American Reciprocal Museum Program, and you can see the full list. And so that makes that $125 membership really worth it. And also that membership supports the museum. So this is the time of giving at the end of year. And we hope that you are considering the museum, the Holland Museum, in your end of year giving. Membership's a great way. Maybe you want to think about a gift for somebody. You're looking for a stocking stuffer. I'll send you a letter and you can stick it right in their stocking for the end of year. But definitely, if you can keep the museum and your end of year giving ideas, we'd love your support so we can continue to connect with the community.
The number to get a hold of the museum during regular business hours is 616-796-3329. Again, 616-796-3329. But probably the best way to find out more about the museum is to go online. All one word, Holland Museum, hollandmuseum.org, and you'll be able to get that information, not only about membership, but upcoming events. Of course, the free second Monday. The next one's coming up on January 10th. More information about that. And a lot of fun things. If you have something that you might want to give to the museum besides being a member, contributions are always screened, but you might have something that the museum could find of use as an artifact for display for a future exhibit. You never know. You never know. Again, the number is 616-796-3329, online, hollandmuseum.org. Katie Baker, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning. Wish you and your family and everybody at the museum a happy and Merry Christmas, a good New Year ahead. And if all goes well, we'll talk to either you or somebody else with the museum next month.
Wonderful. Thanks, Gary. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much, Katie Baker of the Holland Museum on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.